Got Otis in here, recruiting time as we talk Hog football. And, you know, Cole Carson is somebody who I felt good about really not too long ago. And Otis, you talked a lot about this guy. He's got so much upside, a kid out of the state of Texas, offensive tackle who committed this past week.
Yeah, he's a good player. When Arkansas offered him, he's 6'6", 285 pounds. When Arkansas offered him, Drew, he had offers to Louisiana Monroe, Texas San Antonio, and Dartmouth, and people were asking me, why is Arkansas offering that kid? When he committed on Tuesday night, he had 22 offers, and schools such as Ole Miss, Auburn, Vanderbilt, TCU, Baylor, Mississippi State, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Utah, Colorado, others all offered him Penn from the Ivy League. He had 2 Ivy League offers. That tells you how smart this kid is. Yeah, he committed. He's a long arms. He's 6'6", 285 pounds. He's got long arms. He can pass block. He's tough as a boot. He's going to get bigger. He's going to put on more weight. He's at 285, and he's got the frame at 6'6". The potential for this kid is it's unlimited, Drew. I mean, he is. Arkansas recognized that early on in the process. As I said, he had those 3 other offers. They were the 4th offer, it just blew him away. And he's an example of what you get when you can get a kid on campus in the spring. He came up here on that recruiting, that junior day, and he committed, now. And that's where it's so important that they had those 2 junior days. It'd been nice if they could have had more and had some at the spring game yesterday, when they were supposed to, but it didn't happen. But at least they had 2 recruiting weekends. Because if they hadn't gotten Cole Carson up here for that junior day, who knows if they would have gotten him? Probably not.
Yeah. Let's move ahead here. Drayden Norwood has a top 5, and Arkansas is in that top 5. I think I saw Notre Dame in there as well.
Yeah.
But this is an athlete, and this is a kid out of North Side, so he's not far away, and I know he's pretty high on the Hogs, right?
Yeah. Arkansas was his first offer, and there's been some mistakes. People think his cousins. I mean, his brother's at OU. That's actually his cousin that's at OU, and Arkansas didn't recruit Trey Norwood, but he went over there and started as a freshman. Tells you Arkansas probably should have recruited the kid. But, Arkansas, Georgia, Notre Dame, Missouri, and OU made the cut for him. Arkansas was his first offer. I think Arkansas is in pretty good shape there. I'm not saying they'll get him, but I think they're in decent shape there. I think they're in reasonably good shape to get him. I mean, the staff's done a good job with him, the new staff, and they're recruiting him hard. And, obviously he has the offer. And one of 5 kids in 2021 with an Arkansas offer. And so I think it was good that Arkansas got on him early and stayed on him. He'll probably play corner in college, but he could play a wide receiver. He could play wide receiver. He's about 6'1", 175, somewhere in that range, and he got really good speed and very smart. And regardless, I mean, he's an athlete. You get him on your team, and you can find a place to play him. But I think it'd be cornerback I think right now that's the thinking is corner. But he's not limited. I guess is what I'm trying to say, Drew. He's just not limited to playing corner. I mean, he's an athlete. He can play other positions on both sides.
Isaiah Sategna, his skill set. Let's get to that. What do you think he would bring?
Everything. You talking about a kid that could 10th grade, 10 800 meters, track. His dad's track coach, assistant coach at the University of Arkansas, Coach Bucknam over there at the track team, sprinter and track. And when Arkansas offered him, they were the first one. We talked about that, the Sunday after Arkansas offered him. But in recent days, SMU, Nebraska, Baylor, and Kansas have come in and offered him. So he's up to 5 offers now. An athletic wide receiver, 2022 kid that Arkansas jumped on early. And there's going to be a lot more offers for this kid, but he's got great hands. I saw him play this season. Got great hands. He's a 2-sport athlete. Obviously track is also where he excels too. But he's fast. He's got decent size and got very good hands. He's just everything you're looking for. He got great character, great kid, just everything you're looking for. Coach's son. He's a complete package, Drew. He really is. I mean, this kid is. There's some players in that 2022 class who are really going to go somewhere in Arkansas. I mean, these kids are big-time talents, and the schools are offering them to show that, and he's one of them. He's definitely one of them.
Yeah, I agree with you. And this past week, I want to know, what did you make of the teleconference with Felipe Franks? He was one of the guys on there. I love his quotes about how he's going to lead by example, but the fit right now, the fit with Kendall Briles' offense, what are their takeaways right now?
Well, Felipe, I talked to his mom after the press conference, teleconference Friday, and she was saying, one thing he's going to give you everything he's got. She said, that's just Felipe. He's going to give you everything he's got. And he's just the type kid that can come in. He's had success in the SEC. And I love the quote where he said, he could have gone to a school that won 10 games last year, because people ask him, why do you come to a 2-10 Arkansas team? He said, what would I have accomplished? If you go to a school that won 10 games last year and you win 10 this year, what have you accomplished? He said, he went to Florida. They won 3 or 4 games, I think it was, that first year, and then they won 10 the next year. So, you feel like you've accomplished something in that sense. And I think he's exactly what Arkansas needs back there, somebody with experience, somebody that's had success at this level and was a real high 4-star, almost a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, chose Florida over LSU, and here he chose Arkansas over Kansas. So Les Miles lost twice in that deal.
All right, man, let's go back through the NFL draft, because the cool thing is for 25 consecutive years, the Razorbacks have had at least one selected. But there was the agony of having to wait and wait and wait to hear another Hog's name called. And finally, after the 3rd round, Sosa went obviously in the 3rd. But then you wait and wait. And finally, in the 7th round, the 2nd pick of the 7th round, Cam Curl off the board. But, it was just one of those things where it was like, gosh, if only CJ had gone and if only Scooter had gone as well.
Yeah, Jason and I had a long day yesterday. I think we put in about 12 or 13 hours covering that draft. Jason was right there with me the whole time covering that. So it's unfortunate. And Scooter did sign with the Patriots and got a pretty nice little contract for an undrafted free agent out of it. So he's going to be okay, I think. But and he should have been drafted. I mean, hey, here's a kid that, great linebacker. And I thought with the success that Dre Greenlaw had, Drew, last year as a 5th-round pick, I thought Scooter would get drafted in part because of that. I mean, there's other reasons, not just because of that, but I really thought, I was surprised he didn't get drafted because just the success that Dre Greenlaw had, and Scooter's right there with him. So, I mean, I think it's probably not being, he's 5'11" and a half or whatever he is. I think that probably hurt him. But man, I mean, sometimes you just got to draft football players, and I think he'll prove the Patriots to be really smart. He'll do well there. Cam is a kid that come out early, made the decision. People second guess it all they want to. Hey, look, Cam and anyone else that makes that decision has earned the right to do that. And so that's what he wanted to do. So he did the right thing. He went out and he got drafted. He's going to get a chance to play with the Redskins. And, it was his choice. And Sosa, his agent told people, and I saw on Twitter, people were calling that agent talk, where she said he's going to be drafted higher than he's being projected. And he did. He got drafted in the 3rd round. So, yeah, Sosa is a player that kind of, you don't want to say he got jerked around to Arkansas. You don't want to say that. But here's the deal. He played end, he played tackle, he played tackle last year, and they let him concentrate on one position. I mean, you need to get bigger to play inside, but sometimes they'd have him play inside and out in the same game. And so he sacrificed. I'm not going to say he got jerked. I'm going to say he sacrificed for the good of the team. And he sacrificed a lot of things for the good of the team, as did a lot of these players. But I think Sosa maybe more than any of them. And he'll have a good career. He's out there, he'll have a good career with the Broncos. I think that was a good place for him. I talked to one of my sons, just he lives in Denver, and he felt like that was a really good place for Sosa to go. So hopefully, I guess they'd lost one of their tackles or something. I don't keep up much pro football, but he thought that really a good fit for Sosa out there. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I was kind of laughing because you read my mind. I was about ready to say, man, that guy made so many sacrifices at Arkansas. All the best to Sosa Agim. Mason Brotherton has committed to Kansas. Did you expect this? I mean, he mentioned the things with Les Miles' staff, but did you expect it?
Yeah, Arrington was. Mason's a kid that just plays. I really feel Arkansas should have offered him. I've said all along there was 3 Power 5 tight ends in the state of Arkansas, and Mason went to Kansas. Outley's got a ton of Power 5 offers, including Arkansas. And Arrington McCray committed to Arkansas State without a Power 5 offer, but I do think he's Power 5 type recruit too. But yeah, I think with Arrington and Mason, and particularly Mason, I think not being able, Coach Cooper was going to go down and see him practice this spring. And I really think this virus thing really hurt those two kids as far as recruiting. I really think it hurt Mason in the sense that if Coach Cooper could have gone down there and watched him run routes and do things, because look, he plays at Mena. It's a quarterback. Montgomery got hurt in I want to say the second game last year. You just don't get the exposure down there that you get other places. But he'll do well at Kansas. That's his choice. And then Arrington or McCray from Harbor will do well at Arkansas State. They're both really good tight ends. Drew, we talked about a million times on this show. I mean, there's 3 tight ends in this state that can really play in that 2021 class, and the one now left to make a decision is Aaron Outley from Parkview. But all 3 of those kids are very good tight ends. They had all of them had multiple offers. I think Mason was up to maybe 6 or 7 offers. McCray, I think, was right around 13, 14, 15 offers. I think 15. So I mean, they both, and then Outley's over 20. So I mean, they're all getting. The colleges saw what people like me saw in them too. I mean, they definitely offered them.
Yep. And I know you got more in terms of that story on hogville.net. Caden Salter's a QB. We're waiting on this. He's going to announce May 10th, and he's down to Tennessee or Baylor. And he did visit Arkansas, right?
Yeah, and Arkansas, I guess, is still in it. I guess all schools are until he announces, but I really see him. I see him going to Tennessee or Baylor on May the 10th. And then even before that, you've got another kid, Lucas Coley, from San Antonio Cornerstone Christian School, who's going to announce May the 5th his decision. Arkansas recently offered him, and he's a dual threat quarterback, too, from Texas. But, Caden Salter came up here. He's from Cedar Hill, by the way. He came up here the Monday after that junior day. I guess that'd be March the 9th. He was up here by himself that day with visited without other recruits and stuff. But, yeah, those are 2 quarterbacks that it's going to come off board here pretty quick. Arkansas does have, the quarterback from Landon Rogers from Parkview who got a huge upside. I mean, he's got a huge upside. As we talked about, Landon's just got to get more consistent. But, we'll see what Arkansas does. If neither one of these kids come to Arkansas, Salter or Coley, and I think they've got a better shot at Coley than I do Salter. But if neither one of those, there's still Kyron Drones out there, even though it looks like he's probably going to end up at Auburn with Chad Morris and Gus Malzahn. It's not locked in. I mean, till he commits, it's not locked in. So, he's one that Arkansas was still in the picture for to some degree. There again, Kyron was going to come to the spring game. It got canceled. See, that's what's hurting Arkansas right now, Drew, on a lot of these kids. They just didn't get to come and see the U of A before they made the decision. And I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, I know it's happening to other schools too, but it's really unfortunate. I mean, it just is for Sam and them. New staff, and a very good staff, I might add, and they're not going to get to host spring football, and now they're not getting to go out and evaluation period, and they're not getting to bring kids on campus. I don't think going out and evaluation is going to hurt them as much as not being able to get kids on campus, because get them on campus, they see every kid from out of state, every one of them tells me how much better it is than they thought it would be, even though with the visual stuff that the U of A recruiting office sends out and puts on Twitter and stuff and Instagram and stuff with the all the facilities. It's just different when you see it in person. It really is. And, I mean, they're doing a great job. That's what you got to do right now, to do the visual, virtual and visual, just kind of put stuff out there so they can visually see it. But it just makes a difference when people can see it in person. It's just so nice. And then they get here and they see the town. People are friendly. I mean, hey, Felipe Franks talked the other day, Drew, about how much when he went around to rent a house, the guy knew who he was.
Yeah,
I hear that all the time. These recruits, I couldn't believe it. I went out and they knew who I was, I mean, they're surprised, and it's like, guys, it'd be like me being in L.A. and LeBron walked by or Kobe, or AD. I'm gonna know who those guys are. They're the pros here. I mean, they're the Dak Prescott, the Michael Irvins. I mean, that's who these guys are. They don't realize it, and it's amazing. But that's what you get when you get them here, and not just on campus, but in town. You get that, and I think that's what's hurting Arkansas. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. You're dealt the hand, and I bet you Sam Pittman and his staff find a way to still have a good class. They were dealt a bad hand last year when they got here late. They ended up dropping, 80-something spots in the final rankings and recruiting like 110 down to 30 or something like that. I mean, you know, Sam will, they'll be okay. It's just going to take some time.
Yeah, it really speaks to the major strides. And you mentioned everything in terms of the uniqueness of being a Razorback and that story with Felipe Franks. Great stuff. Hogville.net for more from Otis Kirk. Otis, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
You bet. I'll see you guys.
Okay,